compliments. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kang. I work as a consultant at MYSC. Before I begin my presentation, actually, I was a student of Professor Shin's, and I studied at the Women's University there, and I started this project when I was a graduate student. Actually, the project manager of this project is actually Professor Shin. So I'm gonna try myself. I'll try, to deliver my experiences and my insights, I obtained from this project. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. I'll try to answer. But you can ask Professor Shin too, and he will deliver nice answers to you as well. So this case is about Mango Fund in Uganda. So I will explain about the organizations later on. So basically, this project, as you can see, the funder is KOICA, and the Mango Fund is the operator of this fund, and the Women's University and the Hanang University and MYSC. The three of us are made a consortium, and then we intervene as a monitoring and evaluation organizations this time. So I want to introduce about my company first. Merrier Social Company is a for-profit company, and it's a social innovation consulting firm. So it's very new concept in Korea actually. So our client is quite various. For instance, we work with corporations who want to design corporate social responsibility products in a very innovative way, and also we incubate social ventures in Korea. And one example is that KOICA, we work with KOICA for different projects. It's called Global Social Enterprise Accelerating Projects. So we discovered 3 enterprises in Indonesia and Vietnam. So we incubate and we invest them as well. So our approach is quite new in Korea again. So Mango Fund is another project we are doing it. So as you can see, we incubate and we accelerate social ventures, and also we do the monitoring and evaluation projects sometimes. So again, this is our 10th B Corps in Korea, and also we are the official B Corp ambassador in Korea as well. Yeah. So before I introduce about the Mango Fund, so I want to introduce about the KOICA's academic partnership programs, its structure, and how we can begin this program. This can be called collaborative monitoring and evaluation as well. So basically, the Women's University, the research team, they designed this framework. Basically, it's a monitoring and evaluation program, but basically the CSO or NGOs who are operating ODA project, they partnering with university, the research team. So they got a consultancy services from them so that they can increase their performances while they're implementing ODA projects. So this collaborative M&E, the feature is that it's a process of collaborative problem solving through the generation and use of knowledge. Basically, we try to exchange our knowledges. We don't think we are the monitoring organizations, but we didn't position ourselves that we actually can teach something to you guys. We are the partners, so we have to learn each other, and we value knowledge sharing between our organizations. So that's our positioning at that time. And also, we're trying to engage many stakeholders, direct stakeholders of Mango Fund to this monitoring and evaluation process. So the benefit of this collaborative M&E project is definitely is the customized evaluation design is possible, because every CSO has different strategy, or they have different project design. So using this collaborative M&E, we don't really emphasize one universal framework. We actually trying to design it together and customize a framework together. And also the key point is that, so we emphasize the capacity building of the staffs of the CSO or NGOs here. Also, my part, So the principle that I have to address this time is actually ownership. So we try to raise ownership through the capacity building of this M&E process. So this is like a process. So you can see the implementing agencies. Here, Mango Fund is the implementing agency. So KOICA here, the M&E team is here. So these process actually working simultaneously. So implementing agency, as you can imagine, they design projects and they implement the project. So for 3 years, Mango Fund operate KOICA's fund. And KOICA, they selected Mango Fund as our operator. And then they match our teams because Professor Shin is his background is business and Misk has experience in impact fund, so impact investment. So that's why KOICA thinks we have a specialty to give a monitoring and valuation support for Mango Fund. That's how we can start this M&A program. So M&A team actually, Uganda is very far from Korea, so we go to Uganda once a year actually. But we try to follow up their performances biannually, and then we gather the data and evidences from them through online. And then we go there, and then when we go there, we meet clients of Mango Fund, and then we conduct an interview, and then we gather the data from the clients directly. So the effects of the KOICA collaborative M&A program is that data collection is actually done by the stakeholders, not through the external researchers. So we emphasize this process. Also, like I mentioned, local ownership was key factor for this M&A program. So we try to engage the staffs of the Mango Fund, also the client companies of the Mango Fund while planning the M&A program. And also, again, it's repetitive, but we emphasize the building local capacity of M&A. So I will share about this later on, but Mango Fund actually, after this program, they set up a separate M&A team. So our hypothesis was that by doing this one, we'll be able to set up the ground to increase the sustainability of the organizations. But we cannot say it's actually their capacity building is only because of us, and it's. However, we believe that they got empowerments, in a way that we support their M&A process and M&A empowerment. So Mango, I'm gonna try to introduce about the Mango Fund. So Mango Fund, many people got confused. So do they sell mango or they make a mango juice? But actually they have no relationship between Mango Fund and mango. So mango means, I heard that it means prosperity. That's why they named their names as Mango Fund. So Mango Fund is an impact investment fund. Simply speaking, they provide loans to small and medium-sized enterprises in Uganda. But the asset, interestingly, they named SMEs as a missing middle, because missing middle means that entrepreneurs, but they're too big to get microfinance, but too small to get loans from the private bank sector. So these marginalized groups are the target group of Mango Fund. So Mango Fund, their target industry is manufacturing and agro-processing and technical farming and medical services. So here you can see the structure here. So again, KOICA is a donor agency, and Mango Fund is a fund operator, and Ihwa, Hanyang, MYSC are the M&A, and we did the M&A and the consulting services. So Mango Fund has actually an investment committee, like Professor Shin addressed. So they actually rooted from US. So the legal form is NGO, but the Uganda, the legal form is actually the branch. Legal form is microfinance institutions. So, but however, the decision making is done by investment committee US. All the investment analysts, they conduct a review, and they write a report about the investment, but they submit it to the investment committee to get a final decision whether to provide loans to these companies or not. However, the committee respects a lot about the investment reports prepared by local analysts. So in most cases actually, they decide to just proceed with the investment as investment analysts in Uganda suggested. So George Best is here. He's the leader of the Mango Fund in US, and he actually monitors and engages with the management of Ugandan office to secure the safety of the Mango Funds and whether Mango Fund is running well or not. So here the organization structure. So as you can see, we have 11 staffs. Here, only 2 of them are from other countries. They're foreigners, and most of them are Ugandan citizens. So this is like another huge change because in 2015, more than 50% of the staffs were Westerners and they're foreigners. But now it's quite stable. The company's turnover is really very low, and now over 80% of the staffs are actually Ugandan persons. So I think this shows that the ownership and the localization was very successful in terms of the Mango Fund. So even though Mango Fund, the legal form is MFIs, but there's differences between Mango Fund and normal MFIs. The interest rate itself is similar, so 2% per month, as far as I remember. But they said that the charge is different. So Mango Fund does not charge any loan processing nor application fee. It's free to apply for Mango Fund for applicants. And also they offer the flexibility in loan scheduling. And so they actually consider the circumstances of client companies. They don't just push, you have to just, pay money to us in a certain amount of times, and they don't do that. They are quite flexible about the loan scheduling. Also, they are actually relax the security requirements for women. So they care about the women entrepreneurs who are marginalized from the loan to get a loan from the private banking sector or other MFIs. Also, processing time, normally MFIs took 3 months, but Mango Fund only takes 4 to 6 weeks. And also, another important thing is that Mango Fund cares so much about the capacity building of the client company. So they basically provide technical assistance a lot. So not just MFIs, MFI just provide loans and that's all, but Mango Fund, they regularly visit client companies, even though it's the client company is located very far from the capital city, but they actually go because I was in Uganda, I followed them, and it was really like bumpy road, but just they go and they meet entrepreneurs. So staffs are so enthusiastic and they're very motivated to meet entrepreneurs and support them because some people doesn't know how to keep the book, or they don't know how to organize administrative works at all, but they actually help how to do that and train them. It's like a mentor. So it was like a very biggest difference between just normal MFIs and Mango Fund from my perspective. And also they provide grace period even. So like a 3 months grace period, they don't need, the client company doesn't need to pay the interest to the Mango Fund, for instance. So also again, relationship part. I can see that the Mango Fund officers and client companies were very close, and the client companies are very willing to listen to the Mango Fund's advice and consultancies. So these are what our team did during past 3 years. So we did the pilot survey, and we did the kickoff meetings, and we draw the project design metrics together with Mango Fund officers, and this is year 1. And year 2, we did based on project design metrics, we trying to gather our data, and then we get the evidence. And also from this time, when we go to Uganda, we provided the conference opportunity like this one. So we invite all the client companies from rural areas. We actually gather them all together, and then we provide the training opportunities and capacity building opportunities to the client companies. So year 3, we did the same. We did the same process, and the 4th year, actually, Mango Funds they exited KOICA project. So now we have to do the post evaluation of Mango Fund. So we are planning to visit Mango Fund next year for the last time. So from now on, I just want to introduce what we've done to the Mango Fund to enhance local ownership of the organizations. I think I mentioned several times while I'm speaking about the Mango Fund. However, so I just want to re-emphasize it again. So basically, all the CSO or NGOs who got funds from KOICA, they have to draw the project design metrics. So when they draw project design metrics, they have to invite all the stakeholders, like direct, indirect stakeholders, like customers or like parents, for instance, like beneficiaries, and they have to gather all of them up, and then they have to draw the project design metrics together. So what's the goal of this project, and what's the output or outcome of this project? They have to do it. But so some small or the organizations lacking the capacity, they sometimes neglect that procedures, and they just draw the project design metrics by themselves. But this time, during our first visit, we did the workshop, so-called co-creation workshop. So we invite KOICA and MYSC and Professor Shin, and also like KOICA's officers and Mango Funds officers and Mango Funds client companies. We invite them together, and we did the co-creation workshop to make a project design metrics. So this is what our team did in Uganda. So basically, we so many post-it. So they just ideate their goals. They just write down their expectation. So each stakeholder have different expectations. So they just trying to make a common ground, that whether we are sharing same goals or not. So they trying to adjust the goal, whether every stakeholder's opinions are adopted. So actually through this workshop, so 2 goals of PDM actually has modified thanks to this workshop. So the second one is that we provided the professional development workshop, as I mentioned. So this was quite interesting because as an M&A team, we have to collect data biannually. It's very boring things. So we have to write it down, all the tables, and you have to give this number, and you have to give this supporting details, and it's very time consuming, and also for the implementing organizations, very time consuming thing. But we thought of the quite creative idea. So we invite all the client companies from rural areas, and we gather them together, and then we need the data from them. So at that time we made a survey form, and because it's hard to gather them up together in one spot. So we provide professional skills to them, but at the same time we actually collected data by meeting client companies. So 2016 we did our first professional development workshop, and last year we did our second professional workshop. So the reaction was really great, and their satisfaction rate about this workshop was very high. So this is what we've done during the conference with the Mango Fund clients. So lastly, the outcomes of KOICA-Mango Fund program in terms of the strengthening ownership. I think that, as I mentioned, the localized organization structure, I think, is one of the outcomes of the KOICA-Mango Fund, because, as I mentioned, more than 50% of the employees were foreigners in 2015. However, now 80% of the employers are local Uganda, and also their client portfolio are become very diversified. Even they trying to include female entrepreneurs, and not only like agro-processing, or they trying to expand their portfolio in even in different rural cities, and just only focus on capital city. And then because Mango Fund staffs are they're born in Uganda, I think that's the key capacity of the Mango Fund. They know how to communicate with the client companies and how to pick up the best investees. We don't, as an outsider, we cannot easily evaluate who is the good investee and who is actually the proper one. But these staffs are very pretty much oriented to support SMEs, and then they are very oriented to develop their economies. So they know how to pick up and select the best investees. So the second one is that, so as our M&A team focuses on the capacity building, so this is quite, I think, interesting. The other M&A teams doesn't actually really care about the capacity building part, I think. They just go and then monitors and evaluate, just ask some questions, and then why didn't you do this, and what did you do, and just asking, like prosecutors. But we actually, like our partners, we just trying to motivate them. And so like what we did, like KOICA-Mango Fund did the same things to their clients. They tried to provide technical assistance. They didn't actually count the numbers, but many times they tried to meet their client companies and then provide bookkeeping skills and financial management skills to client companies. And lastly, the internal monitoring and evaluation team. So they now realize that the internal monitoring and evaluation is important for their sustainability of their business. So they create the newly formed internal M&A team and hire the full-time worker. And so I just want to introduce about some cases about the client companies. One is the KOICA. So KOICA is they produce pure organic wine in Uganda. They actually the number one market. They have number one market power in Uganda. Also, they export wine to the neighboring countries like Burundi, Tanzania, Rwanda. So if you just go to Uganda and if you just say her name, so everyone knows her name. Yeah, she's very famous and she's really tall. Like I think 190 or something. She's really tall. And the interesting thing is that this is a family business, but she started this business in her house, and really like small place, and just accidentally she made a really like a great wine, organic wine. And suddenly, people got to know about the wine, and then it suddenly become really huge businesses. And so through Mango Fund support, she bought a bottle filler machine, and then many times Mango Fund clients buy this kind of machine to raise their productivity of their businesses. So yeah, this is one example. And the other one is Matmat Agro Processors. And this guy is actually farmer, as you can see. But this farm was really interesting. So it's like a full set of farm. Like he does poultry and rabbit rearing and pig farming and fish farming, dairy production. Everything was there. Even blueberries, everything was there. Like a small ecosystem. He's building a small ecosystem. So, for instance, he bought a maize milling machine, and with that maize, he actually feed the poultry. And then the poultry, with using poultry poop, he actually make the feed for pig, something like this. He's making an ecosystem. So I think it was really fun, and he's actually like full of visions. And what I was interesting is that all the client companies was very enthusiastic, and then they really love their businesses. That's I can feel how much they have ownership of their businesses. And these are my last comments and key takeaways. So collaborative program design and implementation, I think it's really good words, but actually in practice, it was very quite difficult because we have so many stakeholders in, and also in 2015, as I mentioned, the managing director of Mango Fund has just changed it into a Ugandan lady. So at that point, there's some kind of a pause. So even though we're trying to build a human capacity, but if suddenly there's people, a key person just changes for some reason, then there that has to be a brain drain. So it's hard to avoid that kind of risk, unexpected risk, I think. And also, that's why like quick response system and the client orientations are very essential for this collaborative approach. And also, stakeholders, like I mentioned, need to participate in the framing evaluation design process. I think that's the key concept and key feature of this approach. So secondly, I think to successfully run this M&E program, I think trust building was very important because we are Korean and Ugandan enterprises and Ugandan organizations think that why suddenly Korean companies came to us and then just monitor us, they don't know about our market at all. How can they, just evaluate ourselves? They can think like that. But I think trust building is very important because we don't want to change your business model, or we don't want to intervene we don't want to scold you not like that. We just want to here to help you and support you to improve your performances, because they have no experiences working with ODA agencies. So that's how we can facilitate them to work with ODA agencies more effectively. So that's how we do it, and definitely we learn from Mango Fund. So today I was sharing about the Mango Fund case, even though I'm Korean, Korean intermediary. And even last year I had a chance to share about the Mango Fund case. I think it's very valuable experiences that I earned from the Mango Funds. And lastly, the collaborative approach is effective to enhance the local capacity and ownership, and also is helpful to increase sustainability of businesses, I think. But it's just, I think, I cannot say that this is like 100% sure, but still, these are the records of the Mango Funds had obtained during three years. They actually, the client companies created 120 full-time jobs and 123 part-time jobs, and their annual sales and your annual profit are increased, and their satisfaction rate of this program and Mango Fund's technical support are also over 90%. So I think we have to evaluate objectively from now on. Again, since we have still a post evaluation of Mango Fund, but we still think that as our partner, so we trying to strengthen their ownership, with what we have and what we can give to you. That. So these are my this is the end of my presentation. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Thank you. Thank you for your listening.
Hello, my name is Chip, and I really enjoyed your presentation, and I love that model. It's really admirable, the local oriented structure, and as you told that it's really hard to build trust and bonding with local people. So can you give me 1 or 2 episodes that you build that?
This is I think my personality. I think it's my personal trait. I think I just chat a lot. I just really a small chat. It can be about the religious, or it can be about it's just life, and we just share our daily lives, and by doing so they got to know each other, easily get to know each other. Just sometimes the aid agencies and implementing agency, they seems there's a hierarchy between themselves, but we don't do that. We just trying to be casual, except for the official meetings. We trying to listen to them more carefully, and at an operation level, I actually not only through email, using WhatsApp or other messengers. I actually communicate with beneficiaries organizations a lot. I think that's how I did it.
Indeed, as for the trust building, as just Anna mentioned, becoming friends would be very important. So we need mutual respect and also chatting, and more importantly, food. Having lunch or dinner together, and then becoming friends is important. And one interesting part is that when I went to Uganda first, there were all 7 employees, and everyone is basically from EU, US, or Hong Kong, something like that, all from developed countries. So we did a lot of effort to be friends, and then we became friends. So we built kind of a mutual trust. And then when you come back, and then the next year when I tried to go there again, everyone left, and now everyone is from Uganda. So we need to build a mutual trust again from the scratch. So it was a big challenge, but we went there, and then because of Anna, we could build mutual trust with Uganda people, also with a lot of fun. Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation about your project. And my question is, how were you able to monitor the process of the project? Because it's a long-term project, and you're seeing the office of Korea, and you're monitoring the project being performed in Uganda. How were you able to do that? And what was the difficult obstacle that you experienced, and how did you overcome?
I think I should have included project design metrics. And actually, KOICA has that kind of framework. So here, project design metrics, and what's the goal, and then we have to set the target number. And so biannually, the goal, outcome, output, and activities, and everything's there. And so basically, Mango Fund and we together set up the target, and then target number. And biannually, they have to report their achievements, how much score they earn for this goal.
Indeed, as for that question, indeed, I have better understanding about that issue. So, about measurement issue, indeed, the problem was Mango Fund have about 20-30 clients all over Uganda, and some people live very far away, like 6 hours bus trip or 10 hours bus trip. So when you go to Uganda, we cannot visit every client. That's a big challenge for us to measure their performance, annual performance. So what I thought was, why don't we hold a conference or workshop? So we invite all the clients, and then we should give them reason, right? So that's why we have that kind of capacity building workshop. So we provide like marketing kind of strategy or like a design thinking workshop, something like that, so that client have some incentive to come. And then when they come, we do the interview and we do the survey, something like that, to get independent measurement results. So that's how we deal with this problem.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.